Good evening to everybody. I'm your host, Kingfisher. Well, that's what I'm known as on the Hoops and Dreams QPR podcast. And we had a very good episode number 1 last month when we talked all about all the pre-season games and what was coming in August. Well, now we get to actually analyze those ones for August and talk about what's coming up in September. But I'm not going to do this alone. I'm doing this with my 2 guests, and starting with the person who's sitting at the top, Minxie Martin. He is my first overseas guest, so a very warm welcome to you. And hopefully you'll add an awful lot of memories to what we're going to talk about. And my other guest, by no means the second person, the last person, is Stoty, who I actually have met, and we have shared a few drinks in Plymouth. So welcome to you both.
Evening, Kingfisher. Evening, Minxie Martin as well.
Right, so I thought I'd change the format, having organised it all so well. I've just thrown it out the window, and I thought we'd talk about the transfer window. We've had 10 people come in, 10 players come in. We spent around about 3 million, which is pretty good going. Minxie, do you think these were good choices?
I think so. Let me see. Andre Dozzle was the highest, wasn't he? And that was only 1 million. And if we got the 4 million for Eze, then it's been very good business.
Yeah.
Because I reckon we've probably got something back for Kane, and Liam Kelly, of course, is about 300,000. So perhaps 2.5 million is what they spent. It would be very good business.
That's pretty good. And Stoty, are you happy with the ones who've gone out on loan? You got Kelman, Masterson, and a few of the others have gone out. You happy with who's gone out?
Yeah, I think that's a good move for Kelman, especially. I think the young lad has got a future, and I think he just needs a couple of goals. He gets those goals, and I think we'll see a different player back at Loftus Road next year. Well, I hope we do anyway, because we do need, it's that rolling stock, isn't it? We've had it with Eze. He went off to Wickham, did well. Chair did the same. So, if we can get Kelman coming through, he could be our next star. And that's what we need. It is that conveyor belt, really. I think I'm realistic now in we've got to make these young lads, turn them into stars, sell them on. It's the future.
Yeah.
It's the way the club has to go.
Yeah, I totally agree. And I think Minxie does as well.
Yes, I do. We've also sent out Bond, Shadipo, Hamalainen, Batachi. Now, Batachi I like. And,
yes,
and Masterson, of course.
Yeah, I think Batashi, for me, he's always going to be the replacement if Chair goes. I just feel that that's what he's been bred for almost. So we'll see how they get on. What's lovely, I think, is that when you look at the 10 people who've come in, we've actually got some very good defenders there.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I like Jimmy Dunn, not just because he's Irish, but
I hadn't thought of that. Yeah, the big advantage of Dunn is that he's left-footed, so it's adding balance to our game. I'm quite impressed with how we're playing, and I think that has a lot to do with the selection of players that have been brought in. So fair credit, I think, has to be given to Warburton and I guess Selez as well. It has to be him as well.
Yeah, definitely. I think the fact that we've got Johansson, who is a captain, is a leader, is something we've been missing for several seasons. And you can see, you just look at his influence on the pitch. And the fact we've got Charlie up front as well, he's been brought in. He's giving direction to Linden. He does the same to Willock. It's what we needed. We needed leaders, and we've got them all over the pitch now, because we've also got, when you think at the back, we've got Dickey, He looks good. So it's a good all-round team now. And I think there's leaders all over the pitch, which is, if you're going to be successful, or if the young players are going to learn, that is the type of player you need. Those leaders, those guys who are just going to pass on their experience, and show these other guys what to do, where to go. And it's important.
I totally agree. Okay, go on, Minxie.
I like the fact that he's brought in Moses and Andre as well, because he knows the guys and they will help the others.
Yeah, I can only see Dazelle in next season improving on what we see now. And Adebayo, I think he will just carry on being what he is. He's a lot faster than Kakai, and a lot more efficient, I think, as a all-round defender. So
if he start crossing better, that'd be great.
Yeah. Okay, so let's move on to August. August, I love it when we can actually talk about things in such a positive manner. I mean, our first game was against Millwall, always a tricky opponent for us. And you know, at the end of it, we ended up with a 1-1 draw. So was it a lucky draw for us, Stotey, against Millwall, or were we robbed?
No, I don't think we were. I don't think it was a lucky draw. I don't think we were robbed. I think we got out of the game very similar to what I expected. We made a slow start, didn't we? That was the key. We didn't learn. I think Millwall hit the bar early, and then we allowed that bloke Jed Wallace, who I admire, and he's a nasty little so and so as well, but he's a good player.
I agree.
We didn't heed that warning, and he put them 1-up. And then, because of that slow start, we were then chasing the game. And first game of the season, when the tempo is higher than those friendly games, it just, you know, I always think sometimes I prefer to play away the first game of the season, because you get, I don't know what it is. It's just the first game of the season, everyone doesn't seem to gel as well as maybe they should. But, you know, the 1-1 draw was good. I thought up front, Charlie and Lyndon were a bit, they didn't get the service. The service wasn't really there for them. So it was, you know, it was one of those games. The back three looked good. But overall, I thought, well, 1-1 was a fair result at the end of the day. We could have lost. We maybe should have won at the end, but I'll take the 1-1. Good start to the season. It was a point. And that did for me.
Don't forget that this was the first time the team had been in Loftus Road with the fans, with the crowd.
No pressure then.
That volume that just goes round and round. I mean, they must have been absolutely shocked.
I was there for that one, and I the noise was fantastic. It was just like it's tingly almost.
Doesn't help either.
No, but I will tell you this: for the first 20 minutes, I watched the game through my hands because I felt I'm so worried about how we were playing. It really was poor. And as Stotey said, maybe it's that our expectations are so great when we're at home, pressure's put on the team and they get a bit nervous, but it was awful until they really got going.
After the season, I think our expectations are pretty high.
Yeah, but I think also we allowed Millwall to dictate. They bossed us around. And once you let Millwall do that, they're quite happy to do that. They fall over, they claim for fouls that are much, just a slight knock. Oh, I was really fouled. Get the referee on their side. There was really some horrible spoiling. It probably one of the few games. I mean, Jed Wallace scored in 12 minutes. It must be one of the first games I've ever seen where a team has actually been playing, slowing down the game from 12 minutes or 13 minutes onwards. It was incredible to watch.
But quite good at that as well, but that's later on.
Yeah, but one thing I would say for sure is that Dickie, fantastic. His goal was just marvellous, absolutely marvellous. So really chuffed with him.
He was, yeah. And I thought Dewiges or whatever however you pronounce
Device,
it.
yeah.
Device, yeah, he was very good. I thought he was solid on the day.
Yeah.
But somebody will sign that Jed Wallace, and he is going to make a good player for somebody. He's been very loyal to Millwall, and I was surprised that no one came in to actually snap him up from them. But there you go.
That's a good point. Yeah, we actually, when we were talking about the transfer window, we didn't actually talk about the fact that Chair hasn't gone, Dieng hasn't gone, and in fact, even Willock we could have lost. So
all good players and players you don't want to lose.
And Dickey, sorry, I forgot Dickey. Didn't mean to do that.
Yeah.
Okay, so on to our second game, which was the Carabao Cup. Which was against Orient at Brisbane Road. And that one was another very interesting one. I mean, we made a lot of changes. So Migsy, we came in with Kake, Dazelle, Archer, Dunn, and Thomas and Batashi. So it's a hell of a change to the starting 11 on the Saturday. Did it work?
Well, of course, Austin had a knee injury, didn't he, anyway, from the Millwall match, which, of course, then carried on to the whole match. I quite enjoyed the Leyton Orient match because it blooded the young players, and I wanted to see how they were, how they would gel together. It's very difficult, because we always do this with every cup match. We put in the reserves. Well, what we are now going to be calling the B team, I think. Is that right?
Yes, yeah. And we expect them to perform.
Of course. Yeah.
It's asking a lot. So, Stoti, was the 1-1 result at full time fair?
I don't think it was fair on Orient, to be honest, in the second half.
Probably wasn't.
I think we were very good in the first half. I thought, we probably should have scored more than the one goal that we got. But second half,
yeah, it was
me. I mean, we really suffered when when we changed the left back, wasn't it? Wallace went off.
Yeah.
And
Odebayo went over there to practice.
And it just didn't work. And we looked really susceptible. And if it wasn't for Archer made some cracking saves in that game, and he probably deserves a lot of credit for keeping us in the cup. But overall, I mean, I thought, Orient, if I was an Orient fan, I'd have been a bit gutted that they didn't get something out of that game. I mean, the fact we went on to beat them on the pen, and let's say what good penalties our blokes took, every single one of them.
Must practice those.
Yeah, 5 out of 5. That's pretty damn good. And one thing I would say at this point is, if I have to single somebody out, it's Albert Adoma taking the last one with all that pressure, and he just slotted it home as calm as anything. So that was really good to see.
And didn't he celebrate after the game with the fans, which was, you can only imagine as a fan yourself what it must be like to go onto the pitch and score what effectively is the winning goal in a cup match for your team. It's something we all dream of doing, and he's done it. So brilliant.
It's a dream come true for him, I think, and he's living the dream.
Yeah, absolutely.
What I liked was the difference between Dickey's goal in the first match and Dickey's goal in this match. I mean, that was a powerful header, and Batachi's corner was perfect.
Yes, it was. You're absolutely right. I mean, we'll come on to this later on, but I think that it's obvious that things on the practice ground are working very, very well.
Yes.
Okay, so let's move on to Hull, which was our third game, which is quite good because we won that 3-0. And it was an away game. So bear in mind that the week before, Hull had thrashed Preston North End 4-1. So we came into this, or at least I did, thinking, well, we've got to be careful here. 3-0 is a superb result. So anyway, Stotey, tales of the unexpected for you, or
Well, it sort of like it started a bit like the two previous games. We started slowly, and I thought Hull did well early, but they just didn't pick us up from that free kick. That's what you were saying a minute ago about working on the training pitch. And it was good to see. It was good to see that lovely short free kick. They left chair, and brilliant. He did well.
He did.
And from there, again, Hull had their chances, but once we'd gone 2-0 up and they lost a man late in the second half, just before the end of the second half, and then what does Rob Dickie do? Why was he? I can't even work out why Rob Dickie was up in the goal mouth doing a Charlie Austin, scoring, flicking the ball into the net. Superb. It's absolutely superb.
I think it's called leading from the
back.
back.
Ran into the striker's position from midfield.
Yeah.
I mean, it was absolutely crazy. I've watched that over and over. He comes out of nowhere. He suddenly appears from the right and just dives into 3 feet away.
If that doesn't end up as goal of the season, well,
and he started it, didn't he? He started the move. It was his surge forward that started it, and then he finished it. So, brilliant, absolutely brilliant.
So Minxie, I was just going to say, you watch this live, I know, from France.
Yeah.
Now I'm on the south coast. Would I have heard your shouts of joy as Willock, Dykes, and Dickie scored?
You might have. Certainly, the French are beginning to understand Queen's Park Rangers English. Now, the thing that amazed me, I mean, I know the first goal was on the training ground and so on. And then don't forget that Dieng saved a fantastic header with he brought his left hand up,
He did. It was fantastic, wasn't it? Yeah.
And, but then just a few minutes later, he mistimes a kick.
Yeah.
What happens next? Just telling you, Rob Dickie's wonder goal line clearance.
Yeah.
You know what it reminds me of? Clint Hill at the beginning of the 2010-11 championship winning season. It was 0-0 at the time. We went on to win 3-0 against Doncaster at home in September 2010. I looked it up.
I'm glad you did, because I wouldn't remember.
But that's what it reminded me of. Right. And then we go on to another training ground corner.
Yes.
Right. It's a routine they've obviously practiced, and Dykes get his first goal of the season.
Yeah, Dykes did really well. He really did.
And then Dickie follows up with his flick. Do you know that? Do you know how many goals by that time? What was it? 3 games, 3 goals.
Top scorer. Top scorer.
Yeah.
Even then, he was top scorer.
I just hope he got the bonus.
Yeah, I love Hull, but it does make a difference if you have these bodies on the goal line that will do anything to prevent a goal. In fact, I maintain that if we're going to go up this year, we have to get 20 clean sheets. That's what I want. And Dieng has got the ability, and Dickey has the ability.
Yeah, he's got 3 people in front of him who, like you say, will die to stop that ball getting past them. We've had in the past, we've had people get out the way of the ball. You know, so
Absolutely.
we're in a far better place. We really are, is what I meant.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's move on to our next match, which was Neil Warnock's Middlesbrough. Another away game. I mean, really how they sort of working out this year, I think. And the result for us was really, well, it was a great game in terms of end-to-end stuff. But to win 3-2, it's pretty good. So back now to you, Stoty, for your thoughts on this match. Did we start slowly again and too nervously, perhaps?
We did, didn't we? We just gave away that penalty so early in the game.
It was dreadful.
And it was one of those, I suppose, that gets given these days. It's all a bit namby-pamby, isn't it? It was a pull on his shirt, so I suppose, yeah, it had to be a penalty. And it was duly dispatched. And, I thought at that stage, I thought we've had it tonight, because going, there we were, we'd been away to Hull. Now we'd gone up to Middlesbrough, and they're long old journeys. And you go one, and it was always going to be a difficult game, but to go 1-0 down so early, I think
it was 6 minutes, wasn't it? 6 minutes. Yeah. Dykes then causes the penalty. Fair enough. He was doing what he thought he could get away with, but he obviously couldn't. So Miggsy, after that early penalty, until we had the half time, and then we had Wallace's goal. I guess you were feeling pretty nervous as well.
Yes, I think it was an own goal, wasn't it? Was it Chair or somebody?
Yeah, it was Howson who put it in his own net.
And it looks as if Dykes was going to get onto it, but he didn't.
Yeah, he would have done.
And then Moses scored. And there again, it was a little push.
Yeah, I mean, really, I don't know about you, but I don't think that any defender should be getting a yellow card and then carrying on that same way. It was just crazy for him to have done that.
Yeah.
And that worried me, because he's meant to be a mature player. I was disappointed. I won't tell you what I said. Right.
Oh dear. That Dykes goal was fantastic from the right, wasn't it?
It was fantastic.
Yeah, I kept watching it over and over, and the way that he balanced himself and looked at the ball, and it went in from the right.
It was everything we wanted him to do last season and didn't.
Yeah, so absolutely.
It was good. And Willock's one was obviously huge sigh of relief when that one went in.
Yes, and in his interview afterwards, he did know that Austin was next to him. It was quite interesting.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he said it, and then he said that I tried to make space for myself, and it opened up just that gap, and there it was.
Hey, got to take it.
And he did it low to the left. I suppose he knows that that secret agent Lumley doesn't like it low. Nick London, I thought, was very unfair.
He was.
In his commentary.
Yeah. Andy Sinton would never say that. I mean, for me, it was one of those games that was really nervy, to watch. And
the last 10 minutes.
Yeah, well, for Neil Warnock, I'm surprised Neil Warnock's, the club didn't have a trauma team standing by him all the time. I thought his blood pressure was going to go and explode. But again, this was even worse than Millwall. After that 6-minute penalty, Middlesbrough shut up shop almost. They decided we can time waste from here.
Moved it to earlier. Yeah.
Huge ambitions if they think they can time waste from then, but
No, but Warnock teaches them. I mean, that's what Warnock did in our year where we.
It's true. Yeah. No, I agree.
The number 1-0 had.
I think the one thing that I liked most about this was the way the team behaved when the final whistle was blown. The celebrations were just fantastic. They genuinely were delighted at the match, and so they should have been, because it was a close run thing. And in the end, quality showed through.
We played some decent stuff in the game.
Yes,
I thought we did well. We deserved the win. I mean, to have done what we did with 10 men for so long, looked the better team as well.
I agree.
And I think it was a well-deserved 3 points. And it was great to see Neil get upset.
Okay, we must keep moving. Go on.
Well, can I quickly say something? I noted down the Willock interview, because Willock really did well, and he used phrases like great character.
Yeah.
There
was
support for each other and togetherness.
Yeah.
Right.
You know what?
Now,
that changing room is working.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No,
now,
I agree.
He's saying it.
It's happening for everyone.
Exactly.
Yeah. And I don't know what it is about the QPR
about this team.
changing room. I've no idea.
It's the team spirit.
Yeah,
great team spirit. He's got them all working for each other. It showed with Kane as well, and the comments Kane made. He wasn't going to stand for it, criticising another teammate. Yeah. I'm not going to allow that. And subsequently, Todd Kane is out of the club. But I will say in that game, Charlie got away with one. I mean, Charlie should have. Well, I think if the referee saw it again, he wouldn't say it was a clash of heads. I think Charlie, if he was honest as well, would say, yeah, just a bit of red mist there, and he did put his head on his head. And
because it was Hall, perhaps?
Yeah, it was. And Grant Hall did well. He didn't react at all, did he? He got up and, all credit to him.
No, you're absolutely right. Okay, so let's move on to Barnsley. That was a 2-2 draw. That was certainly that. Come on, that must be a game of two halves. It has to be regarded that way. So, Stody, go on. Your thoughts on it?
Well, it was that slow start again, wasn't it?
Yeah.
We didn't turn up again. I mean, if there's one thing worrying Warburton at this moment in time, it's what has he got to do to get the team to start on, a level playing field, really? Because just imagine how good we are going to be when we start as we know we can finish. I mean, some team in the not too distant future could well get a good tanking from us, just purely on the way we've been playing.
No, I agree.
I agree. Overall, we had a problem, didn't we, in this game as well, and it was down to Odebajo being suspended, and
Wallace injured.
Wallace was injured, and so was McCallum. So
yes,
sleeping for that first
Minxie.
Goal.
Yeah, Minxie, would you have put Odebajo over on the left wing and brought Kane in perhaps on right back?
I wouldn't have brought Kane in, no, but I don't really know what I would have done. Obviously, Thomas and Giselle were substituted on 35 minutes, and that was a masterstroke.
I agree.
I mean, Warburton got his year's wages with that, I reckon. No,
Well,
and the reason is that we went on to draw, because that draw is exactly the same. And I know many people have said it, and Northwest said it straight away, that it reminded him of the Derby
Yeah.
2-2 draw. It again in our championship winning year, and at the same sort of time, you know, at the beginning, when the team are being built, you know, trying to get togetherness.
You want to get a run going? Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
yeah.
Go on, Stody, you were going to say something?
No, I was just going to say that if it had been me, and when I saw the team, I was convinced he was going with a back four.
Yeah.
I thought he was going to play Barbe out as a left back, and then play with DeWidge and Dickey in the middle.
Yeah.
And Cafe on the right.
Yeah.
So it totally threw me when I saw how we did set up, and I think he knew when he saw how, you know, Thomas was getting caught out, and the link between him and Dazelle just wasn't working.
No.
And it was a masterstroke to take those two off, because he could have caused more damage to those two players, and he did the changes, he made the changes, and all credit to him for making them. And of course, as we now know, they worked.
Yeah, and if you think about it, he made those changes very early on. I mean, I think before that, I think the earliest he's made tactical changes has been at half time. So incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah, he actually said, if we don't make the change now, we go 3 down.
Yeah.
He actually said that in his interview afterwards.
Well, let's talk about the players that he brought in. He brought in Ball and Adoma. Adoma strengthened the right side, Ball down the centre, and it was no doubt about it. They were coming through the centre, and they had a free rein on the other side. So he did the right thing. So fair credit to him.
I really like Ball.
It was strange to me, though, Kingfisher. What I would say is why Ball didn't start.
I agree.
It was. There were lots of surprises. I mean, in hindsight, you know, I can understand maybe he was trying to get him rested, but
maybe
you know, we were light on that side, especially after moving Kake over to the left. We were so unbalanced at the time. He had to do something, and the fact he made the 2 changes was key.
And they worked.
That Geordie twisted his ankle as well, so he had to make
True.
first substitution at half time, and that was the reason he did that.
I forgot about that. You're right.
Now the other thing, and the reason I want to butt in, if I may, is that, you know, we were talking about the crowd at home and so on, and Barnsley did something. I remember something happened. They one of their players did something, and the crowd got really, really frustrated. We were 2-0 down, and what Warburton said was, the crowd lifts the team, sucking the ball in was his phrase. We were sucking the ball into the goal. Isn't that an incredible phrase?
Yeah, you're right. Perhaps we shouldn't be paying then to go in. Okay, listen. Let's quickly go on to the other Carabao Cup game.
What about Chair's goal?
It was fantastic.
No, we didn't mention Chair's goal. Right. That was a very, very good goal. Really skillfully taken. Very good goal.
And I don't know how he did it. I keep looking at it.
He is one of those players who you can easily overlook. Firstly, the influence and the finishing. Yes. When he has a good game, he is superb. You know, we'll be lucky to keep him.
Yeah, it's a bit like Charlie as well.
Won that by 3-2, you know.
Yeah, true.
Charlie Austin. He did, but I think he deserved credit to keep going right the way through to the 91st minute. Get in, and he does what Charlie does.
Don't get me wrong. It wasn't actually a criticism. It was just
No.
frustration.
No, but that was his 153rd league goal,
Wow.
according to my stats from Northwest Hoop. And Northwest Hoop knows what he's talking about.
He does indeed.
Quick promotion there for him. Let's quickly go on to the Carabao Cup, if we may, second round. And our opponents were Dickie's old club, Oxford United.
And my grandson's club.
Oh, right. Okay.
And he keeps telling me that that we're going to have to sell Dickie and each time he adds 10 million to it.
And well, he might. 2-0, Soti, do you think that was flattering?
No, I thought we deserved it on the day, if I'm honest. We dominated. Yeah, and of course, what an honour for Rob Dickie. He's made captain of us and against his old club, and then he goes and scores another wonder goal, doesn't he? That's Rob Dickie. I mean, he's started the season absolutely on fire. And it was written, I suppose we should have all gone out, had a bet.
I put a bet on it, yeah. You're right.
Had a bet. I think he would score against his old club. And,
Yeah, I mean, the own goal was a bit sad. But, again, they all count.
Yeah, I think on the day, we had some of our better players playing in Chair and Dickie. And I think it showed. I mean, Oxford did okay. But overall, I thought we ran out pretty easy winners, if I'm honest.
Yeah, I think it's true. And I think the important thing there is that Dickie proved it wasn't just a flash in the pan. He could do it anytime he wanted to, if he wanted to. Yeah. Full credit to the guy. It was good, wasn't it, Nixie?
Bottom left corner.
Beautiful stuff from him.
Yeah. And the real good news in that game, can I say, Kingfisher, was Sam McCullum making his debut.
You're right. You're right.
And at last, I thought, well, that's good, because I was looking forward to the Saturday game against Coventry, and I thought we will have a left back playing in the left back position, which will hopefully make us look a little bit more balanced than we had done in the previous games.
The only thing I was going to say was about Willock and Chair, and how, in fact, it was the Oxford game I noticed it first, how well they are combining together, and it's getting better and better every game. That's my comment, really. No,
I don't know about Soti, but I feel that whenever I watch them, it must be murder to man Markham, because you don't know what they're going to do. They swap over. I don't think even they know what they're going to do next.
No.
And they are just superb. You're right. They're a very good partnership. So, right, on to our final match of the month, would you believe? Last Saturday, that was another game I turned up for. And that was... and that was... Hello, we're losing Stody here, I think. And that was Coventry. And so Todd Kane obviously sat on the sideline and thought, well, which team do I support? But it was a good game. When you were there, you got really into the game. It really was a very, very good game to get into. Really enjoyed it. 2-0. Was it a good reflection? I don't know. What do you think, Minxie?
Well, I mean, if it weren't for Dieng at the beginning, again, we started so slow and so badly from that point of view.
Yeah.
He made many things.
But it was good to see Dyke scoring, though, wasn't it?
It was. But, the thing that I loved was the Chair free kick.
Yes.
Remember? That top left-hand corner. Wow. That was... If he can do a few more of those, I'll be really pleased.
I'll try and get onto him, and I'll ask him. All right. And Stody, I mean, obviously you were happy with the win, but were you happy with the overall performance?
Against Coventry?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was, for me, it was just like the Barnsley game, wasn't it? Yeah, we started poorly, but overall, I mean, we did well. I mean, if you can win games like that when you're not playing, 100%, then it's a bit like some of the other games. It's a real big bonus. And I thought we persevered, didn't we?
Yeah.
We weren't great.
Yeah.
We weren't great to start with, but we persevered. And again,
And eventually the passing improved, didn't it?
It did. It did. And Dykes, I mean, full credit to the guy. There he is. He's on the bench. He comes straight off the bench and he scores that goal. So, and it was great as well to see Johan Barbe score a goal, because all around him, his mates, in Rob Dickey's getting goals left, right, and centre. And Geordie Dykes is an absolute mountain at the back. They're getting all the plaudits there. And so it was good to see him, because I'd given him a lot of stick last year. I wasn't, when he first came, I wasn't sure about him at all. And full credit to the guy. Ever since they put Wallace with him and they put a proper wing back with him, I thought he was, the thing about Barbe, I thought when he was playing in a 3 at the back, there's the 3 central defenders, he looked good. When he was playing in the 4, he didn't look anywhere near as safe as he has done.
I agree.
So that's good. I mean, Manning, I am positive that if Manning was played with 3 central defenders, he would never have left us, because I think Manning was happier playing in that 5 across the middle as a wing
and safer
than he ever was as a left back. And of course, going forward, and some of his crosses were an absolute delight. So, and we've got that now in Wallace, because again, another player I gave a lot of stick to, who I now have to say, no, credit to the guy. He's come through his first injury. He is injury prone, but he does do the business when he plays. So, I mean, it's all about those guys proving us wrong, and those. And I held my hands up. I criticised him, and I was very critical. But he's done well.
One thing I should mention here is that, I mean, obviously Coventry were promoted, but they started off really, really well. I mean, looking back on this, they'd beaten Nottingham Forest, they'd beaten Blackpool, they'd beaten Reading, and they only narrowly, I think, lost to Barnsley. So it's a pretty good start for them. So we should have been a wee bit nervous about them and treating them with respect, but perhaps we're treating them with too much.
Well, I thought what they did very similar to Barnsley. I think they'd seen the way Barnsley had treated us, and that high press, and they were right on the midfield. They were closing down Stefan Johansson. And Stefan Johansson gave away a bit of a nasty foul as well at one stage where he lost the ball.
Yeah, and he did what they call a professional foul, which I absolutely hate, because you don't want to see a professional doing it. But yeah,
and they worked on us. They knew that we like to take our time, play out from the back, but and Barnsley are the masters at it. That was the thing I didn't say when we were talking about Barnsley, but they are a fantastic team when they play that high press and it works. Yeah. They're so difficult to play against, or we find them very difficult to play against. But
that's why Gray's come in.
Yeah.
So that teams won't be able to high press.
Right.
Yeah. Yes, because if you're stretching them at the front, at the back, then I knew what I was talking about. If Gray stretches them at his end, that means that there's going to be gaps appearing. That's what you want. Minxie, do you have any idea how many corners Coventry had?
Wow, no.
11. 11.
Yeah.
Absolutely unbelievable. I tell you, every single. But the thing is, the reason I'm mentioning this is because they had 11 corners, and they were 11 exactly the same. They never changed the format at all. If that had been QPR, we'd have seen at least 4 different ways of playing it. Yeah. That's the difference in quality we're talking about.
Yeah.
So, Yeah, I mean, for me, we got the result in the end, and fair credit to Dykes and fair credit to Barbet as well. You know, Barbie was playing slightly, I reckon, probably 10 foot in front of, or for 2 meters or whatever, in front of Device and Dickey. And when Dickey surged forward, he would drop back. But otherwise, he was playing. It's difficult to explain where he was playing, really, but it was half on the wing and half on the inside left, you know.
I think that was Warburton, you know. I think Warburton had seen the high press coming.
I think you're right.
I think he was trying to say to Barbet, you get forward a bit more so that these guys they can lay the ball off to you. And I think he was trying to support those two defensive midfield guys.
Yeah.
But overall, I think, again, the back three in that game, you know, Dickey, Barbet and Device, they were outstanding again. And it's what...
Go on.
It was a clean sheet.
It was, and what's more...
I keep going on about it, but we'll never lose if we keep getting clean sheets. It's a fact.
Now you're going to quote statistics at me now, I know. Right, yeah, okay. Yeah,
we'll even. It's not a lot.
Yeah, it's good logic, and it's probably something that Warburton says to him every single game. At least I hope he does. So the result of that, anyway, you know, with the Coventry game, I mean, that win, what we're talking about here is 3 wins, 2 draws, and we're sitting now 3rd place with 11 points. That's not bad going. I mean, that's the sort of start that you would dream of, isn't it? And it's certainly one that I think you would say for 2010, 2011, not dissimilar. Which is not to put the kibosh on this. Please don't think I am.
It's over to a game. So.
It is. And again, quick plug here for Northwest Hoops, the organizer for Hoops and Dreams Forum. He actually turned around and said, we haven't not scored. In other words, we scored every single game, 13th of March, 2021 onwards. That's an incredible stat.
Yeah.
Incredible. Wow. So we've done very, very well, I think. We'll talk a quick talk, if we may, about fixture congestion. If you remember, Mark Warburton had a really big moan about this after a couple of games only. He was going on about the fact that, you know, this first month of the season, here we are with 2 Carabao Cups and a load of midweek games as well. How are we going to be able to do this? You know, 7 games in 1 month, and it's not so much the fact it's 1 month; it's the fact it's the first month when you've got teams that have come back, they've done their pre-season training, and they're still working their way up. There's no way you can turn around and say they're totally match fit. No team is. So, was he right, Stotey, in the end?
Yeah, I think he is. I think it's the Championship is a horrendous league from the number of games. You know, the games we've already played and what we've got coming up in the next month. You know, this international break that we're on now is a godsend. It's a godsend, one, because it'll give most of the players a rest. Secondly, some of the injuries that we got, especially Wallace, to a lesser extent, Amos, who has played a little bit in the last week, you know,
and McCallum.
We're going to need all of these going forward because, you know, it's going to be a long, tough season. And when I was looking at it earlier, and I think next month we got something like 6 games. And then we don't get 6 games again, I know, until about April. But in most other months, there's at least 5 games to play. Now, that is incredible.
Over 22 days.
Yeah.
The next 7 games are over 22 days, for the 2nd of October.
Yeah.
And don't forget, we haven't factored in the cup games yet. If we have this fantastic long run that ends in Wembley. Oops, did I say that? No, no.
I mean,
There's no way we're going to Wembley. This is
no,
QPR.
but the more we go in the cup, the more the confidence builds, and that team spirit, and then it means that even the players on the fringes are getting games, and there's nothing better for every player wants to play. I mean, the key to every player is feeling that he's part of the team and he's playing. You know, he's given his all and he's playing his part in the success of us moving forward. So it's great to have those cup games, but unfortunately, we've got to weigh them off against some of the injuries that we picked up. Yeah. And the fact that people like Charlie are at the end of their career, so they probably can only play a couple of games, no more than a couple of games a week. Probably one is best for them. So now that, you know, the new lads coming, Gray's coming.
Yeah, and perhaps even 60, 75 minutes is all he'll play. He may not play the whole 90, but we need him to play the whole 90 because he only scores in this time.
Well, if he rests until then. Now, I have to tell you that at the Coventry game, I heard a rumour that Austin has been carrying an injury since pre-season. And this may explain why he's looked a bit laboured at times. I don't know if it's true, but that's the rumour.
And as Tom Cat was saying the other day, they looked a bit fat as well.
Yeah, but listen, I like my strikers chunky.
Can I just give you a quote as we're talking about this? After the Barnsley match, Warburton said, "It's easy to throw words around: character, work ethic, desire, commitment, hunger, but to travel back from Middlesbrough, no recovery to speak of, and to finish the second half stronger than the opposition, outstanding." That was the Barnsley match.
He's right. He's absolutely right, isn't he? When you think about it, they're getting back at what, 1 o'clock in the morning, 2 o'clock in the morning. Who knows when they get back? I mean, they don't get any time to. No time really to do anything more than basic stretching. That's it.
That's it. Well, the number of games they're playing, really, you won't want them to do too much training. It's always got to be light training, and they should be match fit anyway, because when you're playing that number of games, it's going to keep you ticking over, you know, to be ready for the next match. But it is, in an ideal world, you would want them to have a rest.
Yeah, and the one thing I would add to that, Stotey, is that if you're going to give people a rest, then the cup game's the time to do it. But of course, the negative side of that is that there's all these guys who've been sitting on the subs bench for weeks, and now suddenly they're being dragged out to play, and we expect them to do well, as if you put a battery in them and off they go.
I know,
it's play together.
Yeah, and play together. That's absolutely right. Yeah.
You know, in a team, half the team has gone. You know, and
it's true,
and they're brought in, and they have to bind. It's very difficult.
And I have to say,
it's a conundrum for him, because, you know, even some of the players that he's had to send out on loan, I can understand why he's done it. He's done it for the future. He's not done it for today.
No,
but they would be useful today. Players like Batash, as we saw, played a great part in the cup game. But for the future of the first team squad, to get him to develop and to get him the experience where he needs more games. Same with Charlie Kelman. You know, these guys are the future of the club. So I fully understand why he's done it. But you do see fans criticising and saying, well, why have we sent Masterson out on loan? Why have we sent Kelman out on loan when we don't have enough players for the cup games? But it's all about management, isn't it? And that's the decisions he has to make. And again,
you can't help wondering if we're going to see Barbe playing every game again.
Well, yeah, I mean, it'd be amazing if he did.
Wow.
Okay, it's now time. It's now time for us to dust off the old crystal balls and have a go at September's predictions. So if I run through the matches, and then you can tell me what you think. Quick one on this. Our first match is not until Saturday the 11th, because obviously we've got the international break. And QPR's away at Reading. For some reason, we always have a problem with them. We don't play as well as we should do against them. I don't know why, because I think they're beatable. But anyway, so Stotey, your thoughts, please.
Yeah, well, I see that Reading have only won once, I believe, so far this season and lost 4. So it is a very winnable game. And if I'm honest, I honestly believe we should be getting 3 points from them at the moment. I think they're in about 11th place in the league, is it? No, 21st in the league, aren't they? They're right down at the bottom.
Yeah, they're around with Nottingham Forest.
Yeah, I'm hopeful. Yeah, I'm hopeful of 3 points there.
Yeah, I think they lost in their opener, then narrowly lost to Bristol City 3-2. And then they lost again to Coventry. So that sort of puts them in a measure. So you're saying a win, no surprise.
I think they conceded about 13 goals as well, Kingfisher, which is an
enormous.
enormous.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm sure Northwest Hooper will tell us. Minxie Martin, win or lose or draw? It's away.
Well, I was just about to say that they're letting in goals, right? So even though we're away, right, I do expect a win. I expect a clean sheet, because the last time I was at Reading, because I live near Oxford, the last time I was at Reading, Routledge scored a goal. Guess which season it was in.
Okay, I think we know. It wasn't last year. Right.
So I'm going for 0-2.
Oh, interesting. I didn't ask Stotey, but Stotey, if you feel free, if you want to stick your neck out a bit further.
May change it by the prediction league, of course.
No, I think we'll concede a goal. I think we'll win, but I think it'll be about 2-1.
Okay. Well, I must admit, I've gone for something. Being QPR and how things look so rosy at the moment and how excited we all are, I've gone for a 1-0 win. That's all I've gone for. So, okay.
Good one.
Then on the Tuesday, it being the Championship, we don't ever stop. It's relentless. We're away again, this time to Bournemouth, and it's on Sky. So luckily, the curse of Sky seems to have evaporated. But let's be under no illusions. This is still the remnants of a Premier League side. They should do well. So start off with you, Minxie, if I may.
Well, Bournemouth are unbeaten, okay, but they haven't won at home yet. They've only drawn 2 games. So hopefully we can keep clean and sneak the win. 0-1.
Oh, okay. All right. And I won't leave it to Stotey on this one. Excuse me. Bournemouth started the season very well, beating West Bromwich Albion. So that in itself tells you an awful lot. And then they went on to beat Forest and Birmingham. So the weird thing is they then drew with Blackpool. I'm not really sure what happened there, but there we go. So they've had the Cherries have had a very good start. So I think it'll be close, and I'm not going to stick my neck out. I'm going to go 1-1. Stotey, what about you?
No, unfortunately, I don't think we're going to get anything from this game. I think at best we'd get the draw, but I think we're going to lose it. I honestly do. I think that Bournemouth looked good. I mean, they have drawn. I think they've drawn 3 of their games, and but I still think that we're probably going to lose this one.
Okay, so would you want to stick your neck out and go for a score?
Yeah, I think we're going to probably lose it 2-0, 2-0.
Okay. Well, listen, the bubble has to burst sometime, but I just hope you're wrong.
Yeah, well, I hope I'm wrong.
Score.
Yeah.
Okay, on the 18th, so that's relentless. Just a few days later, we finally get home, and we're at home to Bristol City. Although they may have Danny Simpson with them and Naki Wells, I don't expect them to be playing. City won in the past 3-2 away at Reading, but they lost to Middlesbrough, and again at home to Swansea. So I don't know. Oh yeah, and they drew against Blackpool as well. So I don't think they built upon last season at all. They had a good season last season, and I thought they were going to progress on that.
No,
right.
So
I'm going to go 2-1 for us to win. Stotey?
I think we're going to beat these. I think we're going to give them a good. I think we're going to score at least 3. I'm going to go 3-1, but I could see it being more.
Oh, I love this. Okay, Minxie, what about you?
Right. Well, I do see us winning, but we never seem to do well at home against them. So I'm going 3-3.
3-2. Whoa, that's going to be a cracking game, isn't it?
One of my favourite ones at home, actually. Yeah.
Okay, well, that game, after we've got over the champagne and everything and the hangovers from winning so successfully, that game is followed by the 3rd round of the Carabao Cup, and we entertain Everton. So do they play their B-side? Do we play our B-side? Really a very, very difficult one to predict. So what do you think, Stotey?
That's what I've written down as well. Yeah.
I honestly believe Warburton will rest as many players as he can. He will play the B team. I'm certain Everton will play some youngsters and their B team, and I just believe their B team is better than our B team, and we're going to end up losing it. And it might not, in the long run, it might not be a bad thing. I know I was saying earlier that it's about confidence and fringe players getting games, but I think we're going to lose this one. I think we're going to go down 2-1.
Wow. Okay. All right.
Okay. Well,
okay, so.
I would say that we could win by penalties.
Whoa. So you're going 0-0 or 1-1 or 2-2? 2-2.
Especially if Unks plays.
Right. So we're going for a Desmond in full time. Right. Okay.
Yeah, because he's going to score that winning penalty again.
I hope so. Yeah,
me.
Yeah, good.
I wrote down here that I was thinking about this, and I thought it really depends upon our starting 11. And like Stotey said, and at the end of the day, their B side is going to be better than ours. So, God, I'm not very loyal, but I said a loss as well. So I'm going to say something as daft as 1 goal in it. That's all. So that brings us on to 2 more matches to go. On Friday 24th, yes, Friday 24th, an easy game on Sky, no pressure, against West Bromwich Albion. West Bromwich who? Yes. Right. So the Baggies are at home. We're away. I mean, you can't get much worse than that, you'd think. So what do you think on this, Minxie?
Well, the only time I've been there, it was 2-2. And it was a good match. My heart, more than my head, especially under the floodlights, says we'll win 0-1.
Whoa. Okay. Good for you.
Yes.
Good for you. You do realise these are being recorded, don't you?
Yeah. and of course, Darnell Furlong will be playing, won't he? So.
Yeah.
Oh well.
Don't let him score. Okay. Stotey, your thoughts?
I'm nowhere near as optimistic as Minxie. I hope we're going to get a draw, but I, as much as I'd love to see us repay them for that 7-1 beating a couple of seasons ago, I can. The best I can see us doing is a 1-1 draw, and I think we'll get that. I think we can get that on the night.
Okay.
Right. Oh dear. Well, now I feel even worse. Because they've had a really good start to the season, and they've come down with a PL side that really does mean business. In their opening one, they drew against Bournemouth, then went on to beat Luton 3-2, and then they thumped fellow relegation side Sheffield United before beating Blackburn. I mean, they're really doing well. So it really is an uphill task, and both sides are going to play well. It'll be entertaining, bound to be a really exciting match to watch if you're a neutral. So I'm going to go for a 2-1 loss. So
yeah,
I hope I'm wrong. I really, if Minxie can come back onto the thread on the forum and turn around and say, "I told you so," I will be really happy. I promise you. Okay, on to the last match in September, which is QPR finally at home to Birmingham. So, Minxie, are these the opponents that you wanted to see at the end of the month?
Fine. We're going to beat them all anyway. But Birmingham have only lost one so far, which means that my theory that we do badly at home against the lower sides and do much better against the good sides.
That's true.
So, yeah, which is true. So I'm going 2-0.
Okay, that's cool. Okay, Stotey, what about you?
Well, the thing about Birmingham, and I think this is the most difficult month that we'll face. I think the games that we've got to play, all the games that we've got in there, Bournemouth, West Brom, Birmingham, is a difficult month. And I think we will beat Birmingham. But the thing I would say about Birmingham is they don't concede many goals. I think so far they've probably only conceded about 3, and I can see us scraping a 1-0 home win in this one.
Funny you should say that. Funny you should say that. That's exactly what I've gone for.
Is it? Yeah.
So, so there we go. Right. So it's going to be interesting to see these back afterwards when you review this and think, oh, whatever. Okay, we've got a few minutes left. So what I was going to ask, your nominations for Player of the Month. I'll start with you, Stotey, seeing as how your screen is frozen.
Well, I've got 3 nominations for me, and for me it was between 3 players.
Go on then.
And I've come out with one. It was between Geordie Device, who I thought has been outstanding. Chris Willock, who is the most improved player at the club for me, done an absolutely sterling job. And of course, Rob Dickie. Rob Dickie has been, well, for me, he is the player of the month, but he's just shaded it for me from the other 2. Okay.
Minxie, what do you think?
I actually agree with you about Willock, and he's my nomination for September. However, in August...
Okay, that's fine.
It is...
I've got invited back now.
It is my grandson's man, Rob Dickie.
Okay.
Incredible in pre-season. I mean, just everything he's done so far, and the way that he conducts himself.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to find the quote from him. It must have been the Oxford match, mustn't it? And he said, to be captain here tonight was a real honour for me. And about the goal, I had the ball at my feet, near enough to have a go. It went quite well.
How British is that?
Well,
Yeah.
I just love the man.
Okay, I mean, I know Stotey's sort of gone through his list of potentials, but I mean, it's lovely to be in this position where I can turn around and say, I've got 5. Device has really been a rock in the centre, really has. And you've got to not forget Dieng behind him has put in some crucial saves, absolutely crucial saves. A lot of respect for the guy. Okay, he did that one kick that was wrong. I'm sure that'll haunt him for the rest of his life, but he's been fantastic, really fantastic. And there is no doubt in my mind that we play far better when Chair's on board. He adds an extra bit of energy, linking the defensive midfield with the attacking midfield and the strikers. He creates problems for defenders. He is definitely a problem child, for them. And then, as Stotey has turned around and said quite rightly, Chris Willock has improved this season. You can see a difference, and that for me is fantastic. And the way he shifts off the ball when he's not in possession, much better, and he's more difficult to get off the ball as well, than he used to be. So fair do.
And he makes chances for the others as well.
He does, that's right. But for me, like you too, I've gone for Rob Dickie, and I think it's well deserved. Well deserved. I love what he's done. Okay, so we've got a few minutes left. So if we can perhaps have a look at the league in general. Perhaps spend a minute talking about your surprises. Which team for you has been a bit of a surprise in how they performed? Start with you, Stotey.
Well, I thought Coventry. I think the way Coventry have started, and we touched upon it when we spoke about them, when we played against them, I thought they were much improved on what I'd seen them last year. And, Mark Robbins, their manager, he talks a good game as well. And I thought that they played very well, and to come at us, he'd done his homework on us. They came at us, and they were probably unlucky that they didn't score. So, yeah, Coventry for me. A couple of other things I would mention as well, Kingfisher, was that in that Coventry game, the player that I liked was the guy Hamer.
Yes.
Gustavo Hamer. Yeah. He looked very good. And that striker, I'm trying to think of his name. Is it Goyorks?
Yes, not Waghorn. You mean the other one? Yeah.
What a goodbye he was.
They pulled him off, so it was a bit odd. But
it was. I liked him. I thought he played well. He caused us problems, as did Cauley Woodrow for Barnsley as well. So, but no, those two players, Hamer and Gayorkis or whatever he was called, very good. And I think Coventry will do well.
Don't forget, they'll also have the benefits of somebody who aspires to play in La Liga, Todd Kane.
Okay, well, yeah, that's true. Yeah,
he'll be there or thereabouts.
He'll be going.
Okay, Coventry for you. What about you, Mixie?
Well, your question wasn't whether they will be at the top by the end.
No, it was which team has surprised you now?
Right, Stoke and Huddersfield. But they do not appear in my top 6. Okay.
No, that's fair enough.
I think it's not a flash in the pan, but it's just something that surprised me.
For me, I think it has to be probably the fact that Nottingham Forest are doing so badly. You'd think with all the money that's been thrown at them, they would have done, and I equally could say the same about Sheffield United. But we're running out of time. So it only remains for me really to say that this is our second QPR podcast. Hopefully we are improving slowly but surely. My thanks as ever to Northwest Hoop for running the Hoops and Dreams forum. It's a superb forum. If you haven't got onto it yet, find it, register and join in the conversations. And my thanks also to Fox Fisher for doing the editing of this, without which it wouldn't make any sense. It would just be a rambling bunch of whatever. And to my two guests for this month, Stoti and Mixie Martin, both of you, I'm really, really pleased to have you on. And I hope we're on again sometime soon. Thank you very much. And let's go on. Carry on, you ours. Okay, thank you.
Cheers. It's been a
Well
pleasure.
done, that was great. You did a great job. And when we do the touching up on MS Paint, you know, we improve all of us, so we all look good. Don't worry about it. Take care. Look after yourselves. Thanks again.
Take
Cheers,
care. All
Bye
the best. Bye.
Thanks for setting it up. It's great fun.
Take care.
Yeah.
Bye.
We know who we are. You know who we are. We are QPR.